Hi there, so I'm getting ready to exercise my legs today, but before we do that, I just wanted to take a few minutes to talk about self-love, self-compassion, and how to give yourself grace in this very weird season. So a dear friend of mine had just written in and asked if I could talk about it for just a moment. And I think it's so important because I don't know if you're feeling the same type of pressure that I am, but with all of these additional hats that we've been putting on, it's so easy to get sort of in the feeling like we're not doing enough, that if we're not, getting an extra certification, if we're not also learning a new language and cooking gourmet meals, and gosh darn it, we have to look like a model at the end of this with all of our fitness, that we're really not taking advantage of the time. But ultimately, I know that we're all handling trauma and we're all handling difficulties in our own way. And it's not helpful to just continue to add weights on top of weights and to just ask more and more of ourselves, because we're handling a pandemic for the very first time, and the ways that we can do that will look very different depending on who you are and your margin. So margin is the difference between your load and your limit. Now, if you're already at the limit, that means that you don't have any more that you can put on. And a lot of people right now are kind of also putting on that educator hat and being a homeschool parent for the very first time. Or you're taking on all of these additional responsibilities and maybe pivoting your business or working in a completely new way. Just take a moment to recognize the load that you're carrying. And if you're already at your limit, now's not the time. Right? Now is not the time to add extra things. It's not time for the home remodel. It's not time for the redecoration. It's not time to clean out your closet. That's not the time. Put it on the back burner and say, we'll get to it when we get to it. I like to make a need-to list and a want-to list. Now, the need-to list are the things that are my priorities, the ones that I actually absolutely have to handle. And the want-to list are the things that in this season, if I have time for it, that would be fantastic to get to it. But I'm not going to hold myself to the standard of my want-to list. That's something else. But the need-to list is something that I'm saying, yep, I have capacity, I have the margin for it, and I know that these are my priorities. So make your priority list and make your need-to list and make sure that you're nailing those things, but don't hold yourself to the standard of perfection on your want-to list. It's not the time. If you don't learn Spanish right now, that's okay. Now it's not the time. If you don't have capacity for it, take a deep breath, unload that weight. It's not your burden to carry. We're all experiencing trauma in a different way, and we're walking through pain and hurt in a different way. But right now, your time is just set to say, I'm gonna do the things that I know that are the most important, and I'm gonna let go of everything else. Take a deep breath. If your roots are grown out, your nails or your hair look terrible, or you haven't even gotten out of your sweats, that's okay. We're gonna get there, right? We're gonna go back to something that feels more like normal to us. And the season is temporary, but in that season, don't beat yourself up for the things that you cannot control. You're doing a great job.